Voting is now underway in Thailand. The Prime Minister called the snap elections to try and calm street protests and demands for her resignation. So far, the elections are not running smoothly. Simon Mosen joins us now with more from Bangkok. Simon, what reports are you getting about that?
Well, Natalie, so far this morning we've been to a couple of polling stations. A number of them have shut down. Yesterday we were at a polling station that was blocked by anti-government protesters that didn't want to see this election go ahead. They were stopping the ballot boxes from leaving one of these main election cells, if you like, a government building in the centre of this area. And a gun battle broke out. As a result of that, that led to a lot more deployment of security personnel this morning. 10,000 security personnel alone have been put on standby for the capital. And so far this morning we are seeing a lot of disruption, as you mentioned. Let me tell you about where I am right now. This is the district headquarters in Dindang. That's an area of Bangkok. Now, when we arrived here, anti-government protesters had just left, trying to put a stop to voting at this polling station. As we arrived, pro-election supporters, some of them saying we're not actually pro-government, we're just pro-election, demanding our right to vote. They, I'm sure you can see in this footage, they were chanting, we have a right to vote, election, 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 holding up their ID cards, showing that they are citizens of Thailand, they are allowed in and they should be allowed in to vote. A few minutes after this altercation with the chief of this building, of this polling station, they pushed past him, they stormed into the building. There was a scuffle with a number of security personnel, including senior members of the police force there at the bottom of the stairs. Eventually they managed to get upstairs and a woman was shouting, "Tell us where you're keeping our ballot boxes." And if I step aside, some of them are still here. They've now been filing police complaints, so they have a right to do that, to complain to the police that they've not been allowed to vote. By the way, there were hundreds out here, but just a short while ago they all raced outside as a number of them decided to bring down some scaffolding that was a stage previously used by anti-government protesters. Natalie?
And with this turmoil there during the election, any word on whether the outcome of this election, will it be honored after these problems?
Absolutely. Will the outcome be honoured? Will the election have a definitive outcome, Natalie? So many questions. For one, we know there won't be a final result, as we see in elections all over the world. We see the ballots being counted. We see the polls telling us who got how many votes in each constituency. But frankly, there aren't many candidates in a lot of constituencies, in more than 60 provinces around Thailand. A lot of voters weren't able to register, a lot of candidates weren't able to register, so there won't be a definitive outcome. And as you say, will this then mean that this election will be called into question? Well, in a simple word, yes. People are already talking about the fact that they might go to court to contest the legitimacy of this election, an election that the anti-government protesters, as we've been seeing over the last few months and weeks, didn't want to go ahead. But Prime Minister Yingluck said, if you're unhappy with this government, the way to say that is through the ballot box, is through your right to vote. Come and vote. If you want me out, vote me out. She cast her vote early morning. She insisted that this election must go ahead, and it did stumble its way through to this day, and it's stumbling its way through election day too. Natalie?